Hey RATBAGGERS, today I'm going to show you how to get a set of weapons called the Hatred set. One of them is going to be a Mace, the Hatred's Heart, and the other one's actually a really powerful bow, maybe one of the best in the game, Hatred's Soul. They both drain speed and they both cause fire damage. There's also some Hatred Soul's arrows which are good for capturing, souls. Relatively simple, it will require exploring a massive dungeon, but you can actually just grab these weapons and leave and come back to it anytime you want. Now the way some of these Oblivion planes work, you've actually got a random chance of going into some of them and getting a different world on certain gates, and then some gates will always be that world. So for this one, this should be World Oblivion 2, pretty much south of Coral. Fun fact, you can get used to the actual Oblivion world and what it might contain by looking as soon as you spawn, and there's descriptions on the wikis available that'll tell you how many towers or landmarks to look out for, so you'll instantly know what kind of world you're in if you've gone into a random one. So this one has some distinct towers, and there's actually 7 of them that you can count, although some will be hidden behind the others. So yeah, you may come across this place in another gate. But as said, the Coral one is guaranteed. Now this is a big place. I'm only doing the guide to show how to get the 2 weapons. You can go and loot and explore all the other stuff as well, and obviously close the gate. But for just these weapons, head east on this path, and then it'll kind of turn to the northwest. You'll come across a tiny little bridge here going over the lava. And what we're looking for is a tower that's actually fallen mostly into the lava itself. So it's literally this one you can see right in front of you, but the entrance for it is in a cave, so we're not going to get into it directly by this way. Just keep following the path along. You'll see a little jump that you need to get over, otherwise there will be some lava there, and just keep following this path. I was trying to discern if there was a way to get into this tower, maybe by another door, but no. You can see there's a bit of a landmass just on the side of the almost sunken tower. Hop over the wall, jump on top of here, and we're going to be following all across to the very tip on that little island there. You know you're going in the right direction, as you can see there's a gate on the floor there as well. The entrance really is very hidden. Hop down and take the right hand side route going past these giant pillars. You come to a small little high point overlooking lots of lava, and just below you is going to be the entrance. Just obviously walk around until you find it. Again, it's really hidden. It's on the left hand side here as you face it, and that's the way in, the fume vaults. You'll find a few scamps to deal with, and it's not maybe the most labyrinthian place to go, believe it or not. There's a few pods in pretty much every direction as well, so it's worth maybe exploring it, as you do still get a good chance of finding good loot in these pods. But if you are in a rush, just simply hug the right hand side as soon as you get into the vault, and then once you get to this chamber where you can see my marker, you take the middle chamber and this will lead you out to the exit. And then you'll be in the tower properly, and then the case of just climbing up as you normally would, taking care of any of the Dremora or any more scamps. Now you can see I've already got a mace in my hand. That's Caliban's Grim Retort, which I've already done a video on. Let's go and check that out if you want to see it. It's pretty good, I'm not going to lie. I think actually it could be my favourite mace. It drains strength as well as do huge damage to enemies, absorbing their strike too. Especially blunt damage, so really good for taking these guys on. But I'll more than likely do a whole recap video of all the best maces in the game anyway. So find the doorway into the Halls of Dark Hate, and you do need keys for this, so make sure you loot all of the Dremora that you've killed in that level. You can't really skip by them. Make your way up the ramp into a small room with some health refill as well here, and into the Embers of Hatred, where you'll use the second key that you got from the Dremora in the first place at the bottom of the tower. So up the ramp and there will be a teleportal. And you're here where the loot is. It will be in these pods. There's 2 of them. One of them will contain the Hatred Soul as well as some Hatred Soul arrows. It does fire damage and drain speed on strike. 15 points for 1 second or 15 points for 20 seconds for the bow. If you've done this really early level, you'll only get 5 points for 10 seconds of drain speed and only 5 points of fire damage. And its max level that you could get it is actually 19 instead of 25, like a lot of other weapons, where it will do drain speed of 30 points for 45 seconds and fire damage of 35. But be warned, the actual cost and usage of it, even though it goes up with the amount of charge, will actually still use a lot of it. It's like 315 at level 19, so that's going to be only about 15 usage you'll get out of it. But of course, it is doing a lot more damage. Then we've got the Hatred's Heart inside the other pod on the opposite side, and it does exactly the same thing as the actual bow. And not forgetting the arrows, which are really important as they also trap souls, and when you combine it with the bow, apparently this is one of the highest base damage bow and arrow combos you can get in the game. Soul Trap will last 15 seconds when using it. So yeah, the bow's probably the better weapon out of the two for definitely certain classes. As I said, I still think there's better maces like the Grim Retort. But for how easy you can go and grab this if you've got enough patience to deal with the Dremora Keepers, even early game you can grab this, knowing that you'll still be able to get more later, or just simply, yeah, don't close this gate and come back to it, otherwise you'll have to wait for another random gate to be the same world. Remember, this one south of Coral is always going to be this. So let me know which one are you looking for, the mace or the bow, and I'll see you right back with some more guides soon.